Greetings from isolation. Hey, it's Steve Gallagher here, and today I'm going to tell you a little bit about the best day of my life. The best day of my life was the day my son was born. It was also the most terrifying day of my life, but we're not going to go into that part. Just rest it to say I never thought I was going to be a father. I just didn't think it was in the cards for me, but it happened, kind of by accident, but it happened, and accident doesn't sound great, but he didn't want to say it was a mistake because it wasn't. He's a cool kid, but I never pictured myself as a dad until we had that first ultrasound, and you got to hear the little heartbeat, and we found out that it was a boy. And then all of a sudden, everything synced in. Okay, because ladies, here's the thing. Guys, whether they want to have kids or not, have thought about the things that they're going to teach their son from the day that they're young. You know how you do it with weddings and everything like that? Yeah, that's us with our sons. I was going to teach him all the good stuff. Like I was going to teach him about football. I was going to teach him how to wrestle. I was going to teach him hiking, camping, fishing. I was going to teach him how to change the oil on a car. I was going to teach him all of these things. And my son was born. I looked down at him, and he was massive. Yeah, this was the biggest damn baby you've ever seen in your life. All right, he was 22 inches long and weighed 10 pounds, 9 ounces. He came out a linebacker. Oh, I was thrilled. All right, because I was ready. You thought this kid was going to sit up and start talking to you. He was so big. At birth, he fit loosely into 6-month clothes, okay? My ex-wife's C-section was sponsored by Gorilla Glue because they weren't sure they were putting her back together. It was awesome. I was ready. And that was the day I slowly started learning that everything I'd planned for was irrelevant. Because, you see, I am an old-fashioned dad with a newfangled kid. My son is the most mellow, down-to-earth, peaceful kid you've ever met in your life. I don't know where he got it. I'm sure as hell didn't come from me, because you know what? None of you have ever said, that Steve Gallagher is just so calm. No, it doesn't happen. But here I am, okay? He's peaceful, tranquil, down to earth, relaxed, okay? Nothing bothers this kid. Here I am yelling at him because he did something wrong. Does he yell back? No. Does he fight back? No. Does he throw a temper tantrum? No. He comes up to me, hugs me around the legs, and says, "I'm sorry, Dad. I'll try to do better next time." What the shit is that? Okay? Nowhere in the playbook does it teach you how to deal with, "I'm sorry, Dad. I'll try to do better next time." It is absolutely infuriating sometimes, because here I am trying to discipline my child, and he just takes it. And it's like, oh yeah, I can see how that would be frustrating. Are you kidding me? The kid is a pacifist. He wouldn't hurt a fly. He has been in one fight in his entire life, and he's 9 now. You know how many fights I was in by the time I was 9? It was a good fight, though. I'll tell you a little bit about it to wrap up here. My son and my niece are a month apart in age. So they got to go to the same nursery school together when they were young. Well, there was this other kid. Yeah, that's the one thing you'll learn. There's always this other kid. Okay? And this other kid was the second biggest kid in the class. I say the second biggest, because you know who the biggest was? That's right, my son. But for as much of a mellow, pacifist, just relaxed kid my son is, yeah, this little dickhead was the exact opposite. And I know what you're saying, Steve. You can't call a nursery school kid a dickhead. Yes, I can. Yes, I can. And you know what? Fuck that kid. Fuck his parents. Because this little terrorist just took glee in making every other kid in that class's life hell. All right? First day we saw it, he just came over and started grabbing and shaking this other kid. And my son's just like, Dada, why is he doing that? And I turned to my son and I'm like, I don't know, pal, but it's not really our business. Second day, he comes up to another kid, pushes him to the ground. My son comes to me and says, Dada, why is he doing that? I don't know, buddy. I guess his parents didn't raise him right. Third day, he's dragging this little kid by their hair across the playground. My son says to me, Dada, why is he doing that? So I finally turned to my son and I'm like, it's what happens when you smoke crack when you're pregnant, son. I don't know what to tell you. Well, the fourth day, this little bastard decides to put his hands on my niece. And I was just waiting to hear, Dada, why is he doing that? But I never did hear it, because all I heard was this sickening thud. You see, I looked down and my son has done what is a little kid version of a double leg takedown and was just on top of the kid swinging at his head. And I tell you, the form was god-awful. All right, there was no skill to it at all. He wasn't really hitting too many blows, but he was throwing them. And that's the important thing. And I was proud. And I felt bad that I was proud. But this kid needed to be taught a lesson, and my son was the one that was doing it. And that is awesome. But here comes this kid's mother over to me. The same mother who has watched her son terrorize an entire nursery school class. And she just comes to me and she's like, well, aren't you going to do something? And I turn to her and I say, yeah, I'm going to take my son for ice cream afterwards. Yeah, that's right. And when he's getting up, if he decides to step on your little shit son's head, I'm letting the motherfucker get sprinkles. Probably not the best response I could have made, but, you know, it was the one that I had at the moment. And, well, next thing you know, next day I'm there and I'm asked to come inside and talk to people. Did I mention the nursery school was in a church basement? Yeah. I had to go and talk to the minister and his secretary because the other kid's parent filed a complaint. So I went in there and I listened to the secretary read off everything I said in detail. I gotta tell you, by the time this ancient-looking old woman got to, and if he steps on his head, I'm gonna let the motherfucker have sprinkles. I couldn't hold it together anymore. I'm like, listen, the little kid's a bastard. He's been messing with every kid in the class. He got what he had coming to him. I'm sorry if that's a problem, but I'm not sorry for what I said. And the minister looks at me and he's like, sir, I have had many parents in my lifetime tell me that, you know, the kind of things that you just said, but you're the first one ever to have that hardcore dad attitude that comes into my office wearing a DuckTales t-shirt. And I looked down and I did have my DuckTales t-shirt on. Hey, you could be a hard ass and still appreciate late 80s, early 90s cartoons. It is possible. So I excused myself from the minister's office and everything, and I picked my son up. And I decided that if that was ever going to happen again, my son was going to be ready. But I found out that they do not make nursery school size impact gloves. But you know what they do make? Giant foam Hulk hands. So guess what he got for Christmas that year? And I made him start swinging at a bag with them. And every time he did it, he had to say, don't make me angry. You won't like me when I'm angry. Have a good night, everybody.